On today's program, Soon on Screen presents the historical drama, The Water Diviner, the directorial debut of the famous Australian actor Russell Crowe. Recently, a concert of the young Kazakhstani cellist Bulat Tanybekov took place in Almaty. Take a glance at it in the program Art Event. And in On the Front Line, you will find a fascinating story about the unknown and secret life of the circus. The hero of today's Master Has It is the journalist Oksana Bondarenko. The historical drama The Water Diviner has premiered, the first directorial experience of the famous actor Russell Crowe, who also played the title role in the film. The film takes place in 1919. The plot revolves around a picture, an Australian who went from his native Australia to Turkey to find his sons. They are not accounted for after the Battle of Gallipoli, a massive campaign entente from the 1915s and 16s aimed at the conquest of the Dardanelles Strait and the expulsion of the Ottoman Empire from the arena of the First World War. The troops of the British Commonwealth of Australia and New Zealand lost in this campaign more than 10,000 people, and to his own surprise, he finds hope where he has never thought to find it. To create a musical script, they used military literature, diaries, and letters of soldiers. The filming started on December 2nd, 2013, and took place at the home of the actor in Australia as well as in Turkey. The script is written by the compatriots of Crowe, Andrew Anastasius, and Andrew Knight. The producers of the film are Troy Lum and Andrew Mason. The film's budget is $12 million. Also starring is Olga Kurilenko, Jai Courtney, Isabel Lucas, Damon Harriman, and Jacqueline McKenzie. Recently held in Almaty was an unforgettable concert by Bulat Tanybekov, which featured the masterpieces of Italian music throughout history. The young and talented Kazakhstani cellist prepared for his listeners an amazing program that consisted of both classical and contemporary works. My concert is dedicated to romantic relationships between people, love and warmth. And for this, we have chosen the Italian composers. We can hear music from different times, from Vivaldi and Boccherini to Ennio Morricone and Andrea Bocelli. The concert is one of a kind, and one might even say unique. The next concert will have a new theme, so we are all doing it solely for our viewers and only for them. I think the main charm of this show is that they made a personal approach for the listener, and we carefully prepare for this. Although I am an academic musician who plays classical music, I like to mix styles as well, different ages and periods, and get this kind of musical time machine. Since I want to interest many different audiences that come to my concerts, I choose different periods and different composers, because everyone has their own tastes and preferences. With the program of classical works, Bulat Tanybekov already traveled to many European countries, representing Kazakhstan on the international stage. Bulat has a very interesting and original personality. All the time he has some new ideas in terms of repertoire and music. He brings a repertoire of both classical Italian music as well as what is modern and easy to listen to. I found out just recently, and I find him very interesting from the creative side. I am very glad to meet him, and I hope that we will delight the audiences of Almaty and the Almaty region. The word circus is a very special word. It is an island of goodness and light. It is not possible to be indifferent at a circus. Spectacles in the arena fascinate the viewer. Everything looks festive and light and joyful. Incomparable pleasures are offered both to children and their parents alike. Today, we want to introduce the audience to the unknown and mysterious secret life of the circus. The Circus of Almaty is over 40 years old, and the audience is usually used to seeing it only from the outside, as well as representation in the arena. But today, you will see unique shots from behind the scenes of our circus. Come along with me. This here is the training area. It is the same diameter as the main ring. The only difference is that there is no seating. We are now rehearsing, and our artists are preparing for the best festivals. And now we have just started a rehearsal. Here in these containers, we ship all of our tools and materials, tethers, mats, specially adapted things. So our transportation details are a very important part of the overall circus. And now we find ourselves in a place that kids love, because the circus without animals is not a circus. We are now in the stables where you can see camels, horses, and goats. In employment at our circus are about 100 people of completely different professions: artists, clowns, jugglers, and magicians. We even have a very diverse collection of artists. We have held an average of 140 performances a year of 7 or 8 different types of programs. On New Year's, we have a New Year's themed performance and something very festive to put people in the New Year's mood. But basically, we use all of the same classical ideas. More than 200,000 people visit our circus every year, and about 70,000 people are return visitors. Many go constantly, and every year new viewers are added. Actually, the circus is a national art form because here both children and adults come, and all of them are clearly understanding what's happening. We have a lot of circus animals, camels, goats, and wonderful horses. The horse is a symbol of our circus because we are best in trick riding. We have professional horsemen who are also stunt performers in movies and also participate in even Hollywood films. Also, we have bears, crocodiles, cats, and dogs. Of course, our artists go to festivals, and just recently our artists have attended a festival which is carried out by the brothers Zapashny. So we are always on our toes. The most prestigious of the festivals, of course, is Monte Carlo. In Monte Carlo, not all of our artists are involved, but we have a long career ahead of us. We are all very young and motivated, and I think that goal is in front of us, especially the Golden Crown in Monte Carlo. We were on tour in China, Russia, Ukraine, and even Italy, and everywhere we proudly carry the Kazakhstan flag. And now the most important and shining moment of the circus is, of course, the circus performance. Let's go! Everybody loves a circus because every idea is a synthesis of magical power, agility, and humor. The circus fills our life with bright colors and unforgettable emotions. My friends, the most important rule in circus is to never sit with your back to the arena, because it is disrespectful to our arena. Basically, I show you almost everything that is behind the scenes, and you have only to come and visit us and watch the circus for yourself. See you. Goodbye. Media professionals are always behind the scenes, and sometimes we don't even know their names. A lot of journalists are doing their work so that we are always aware of the most important current events. Today we take a look at a professional, the journalist Oksana Bondarenko, who will tell us about her interesting profession. My parents are quite well-known filmmakers in Kazakhstan. I also started to work in film, but I love life changes. It so happened that in my life I had a lot of them. To journalism I came rather late, but I think that this was one of the most exciting changes in my life. That was in 2003 when I finished a project for the TV channel Habar. It was a show where I was a writer. After that, I was offered to try myself in the coverage of cultural events in Almaty in the newspaper Evening Almaty. I tried and I enjoyed it very much. The editor-in-chief praised me, and since then, for more than 10 years, I've been doing just that. Now I'm retired and I continually do it internationally. All of this was so interesting. Festivals, premieres of plays and movies, various exhibitions, book presentations, meetings with interesting people from actors to directors. In general, life abounds and it is very interesting. And I realized that once you start any new business or devote yourself to a new profession, then you open up something new in yourself. My first article that I wrote was about the premiere of a student theater. The article was very short, and I spent a lot of time on it. I was very worried about it, but when the article came out, I was praised by the chief editor, and he said that everything worked out and everything was fine. In journalism, my experience working in film helped me a lot. Firstly, there I also wrote, but I wrote scripts for sitcoms and documentaries. And even then, just the knowledge of movie production was very helpful in my writing of the stories about movies and the premieres of directors. I knew more about the movies than the normal journalists, by virtue of my previous profession, and it helped me to write interesting articles and reports. The more the journalist knows, the more interesting his articles will be. I have one rule: never do a phone interview. It is necessary to look in the eyes of the person you're interviewing. I do not have a hard character. I think that you just need to find a common language with people. When people see your interests, they're ready to be open. The wider and more interesting you present your material, the better it will be to read and the more interesting it will be for people. In journalism, like any other profession, you need to imagine that you can't see yourself without it. If it's the most important profession in the world for you, even for a moment, if not for your whole life. And one well-known writer said, if you can't write, do not write. You need to write if you can. If you can't meet people, write about some interesting events. If you take your time and you're not interested to go to some kind of shows and you go under duress, you shouldn't get into this kind of work. There are so many other professions and you can find something else. Whenever I write about people, especially veterans, the people that have experienced some sort of tragedy, I experience it as if it's my own. Sometimes I'm even writing and crying simultaneously. You can't get used to what you write, otherwise it won't be interesting. Everyone has their own experiences to share with you. Someone experiences something less, but you can't stay indifferent. About people, necessarily you need to write with your soul and empathize with others. They will feel it and then they will open their hearts to you. This is a very valuable thing. It is called trust.